Right now, heaven is reaching for your heart. This is not just a message. It's a conversation between you and the one who created you. So take a deep breath. Silence the noise around you and listen, because God is speaking to you right now. Welcome to Jesus Saves.
My beloved, I know you've been wondering if your prayers have truly reached me, if your tears have fallen into the silence of the heavens without a response. You wake up some days feeling empty, heavy with sadness, your chest pressed by invisible weight, and you whisper into the quiet hoping someone, anyone, hears you. But I am not just someone. I am the one who saw you before you were born, who walked beside you before you even knew my name. And today, I am whispering into your soul, inviting you to listen, not just with your ears, but with that deepest part of you that has never stopped yearning for something real, something eternal. I see you. I know how long you've held on, and I know how close you've come to letting go. But before you make any decision, before you close your heart or close that Bible, wait. Just wait, because I am not done with you, not even close. This moment, right here, is the beginning of something you can't yet see but have longed for with every fiber of your being. Do you feel that flicker deep within, the one that refuses to die, no matter how hard life has tried to extinguish it? That is me. That is my spirit within you. And I've come to tell you something you may have forgotten. You are not ordinary. You are not abandoned. You are mine. When the nights get too long and your thoughts spiral into dark places, I am right there, closer than the breath in your lungs. You've cried into pillows, spoken into walls, stared into the mirror and wondered if the person staring back still knows how to hope. But I've seen it all. Every sigh, every question, every moment you looked up and whispered, "Are you still with me?" And here's your answer: yes, I have never left. I never turned away. Even when you wandered, even when you doubted, I stayed. I've watched over you through storms you thought would break you, through losses you never imagined surviving. But you're still here. That isn't an accident. That's grace. That's purpose. That's me. You see the pain. I see the preparation. You see the delay. I see the divine timing. You see doors that have slammed shut. I see the ones I'm about to open. Doors so wide and so filled with blessing you'll wonder how you ever settled for less. But I need you to understand this. I don't want you to just survive. I want you to rise. I want you to remember who you are, not by the world's standards, not by what others have said or how they've treated you, but by my word. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are my masterpiece. Not a mistake, not a burden, not forgotten. You have always been the object of my affection, the recipient of my eternal promises. And I know you've asked, why is it taking so long? But what you call delay, I call development. I've been forming things in the silence. Strength, resilience, compassion, wisdom. I haven't been ignoring you. I've been preparing you, because what I'm about to place in your hands is sacred. You were made for more, and the more you've been praying for. Peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, joy that isn't shaken by loss, love that doesn't walk away, is coming. But I need your trust, not just when things make sense, not just when the path is smooth. I need your trust when everything is quiet and confusing and stretching you beyond what you think you can endure. Because faith that only exists in clarity isn't faith. True faith is trusting me in the dark, holding my hand when you can't see the road ahead, and believing in my promises even when your feelings scream otherwise. So hear me now. Do not give up. Don't let discouragement write the final chapter of this season. I have already written your story, and the next chapter is full of beauty. You may think this is the end, but I'm telling you it's a beginning. A new beginning. I am rebuilding what was torn down. I am restoring what was stolen. I am reviving what you thought was dead. That vision you let go of, that dream you buried, that confidence you lost. It's not over. I'm breathing life into it again, and you're going to feel it soon. Not just spiritually, but tangibly. Doors will open. Hearts will change. Healing will come. But you must stay close to me. You must listen, not to the voices of fear or the noise of doubt, but to me, the one who created you, redeemed you, and now calls you back into alignment with your divine identity. Look around. It may seem like nothing is changing, but something is. In the unseen, things are shifting. The heavens are moving, and the miracle you've been waiting for is closer than you know. The moment you said, "God, I can't do this alone," I said, "You don't have to." The moment you asked, "Where are you?" I whispered, "Right here." The moment you felt abandoned, I surrounded you with my angels. And the moment you nearly gave up, I placed this message in front of you. This is not coincidence. This is intervention. This is me, showing up in the exact moment your soul needed reassurance. Let go now of the burden you've been carrying, the guilt, the fear, the what-ifs. You were never meant to hold it all. That's my job. You were meant to trust, to walk by faith, to rest in the knowledge that the one who holds the stars also holds your life. So, lay it all down. Every pain, every unanswered question, every fear, and let me carry you. Not just through today, but through every day that follows. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the testimony I've been writing for you all along. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are just getting started. Stay with me and watch what I do next. There are places within you that even you have forgotten. Old wounds you've buried, hopes you've silenced, and questions you've stopped asking because the silence felt too loud. But I remember every time you tried to stay strong for others while inside you were breaking. I remember when you smiled to hide the ache, when you nodded while your heart screamed, when you walked away because you didn't want anyone to see you fall apart. I remember because I was there, and today I want to touch those hidden places, not to expose your pain, but to heal it. I know the memories that still sting, the names you try not to say, the moments that feel too heavy to carry into tomorrow. But hear me, I can carry them. I want to. All of them. If you'll let me. You've wondered why some people left, why some promises broke, why some prayers felt unanswered. And though I never take delight in your pain, I allowed certain things to fall away because they were not rooted in truth, in love, or in purpose. What I remove, I replace. What I prune, I prepare to flourish. And while the loss still lingers, you must trust that what I've kept for you will be far greater than what you've mourned. I am not a God of half measures. I do not tease or torment the souls I created. Every path I redirect, every door I close is out of mercy. I would rather you hurt briefly than be bound forever to something not meant for you. And I know letting go feels like giving up. But in my kingdom, surrender is the birthplace of miracles. You were never meant to be defined by who hurt you, by what broke you, or by how long you've struggled. You were meant to be known by the one who heals you, carries you, transforms you. I know it's hard to see it when the mirror reflects only fatigue and disappointment, but I see more. I see the fire that still flickers beneath the ashes. I see the faith that whispers when words fail. I see you showing up every day when everything in you wants to quit. That is courage. That is strength. That is beauty. You have no idea how proud I am of you. Not for pretending to be perfect, but for coming to me imperfect and open, willing to try again. I'm rebuilding you, not as you were, but as I intended you to be before life tried to redefine you. And the process won't always feel beautiful. Healing rarely does, but it is holy. You may feel like you're unraveling, but what's really happening is I'm undoing everything that tried to convince you that you were less than who I created. The lies, the shame, the self-doubt, they're losing their grip. Slowly, steadily, I'm replacing them with truth, with grace, with identity that is unshakable because it's rooted in me. You've grown so used to surviving that you've forgotten what it means to simply live. Not in fear of the next disappointment, not waiting for the other shoe to drop, but freely, fully, joyfully. I created you for that kind of life. Abundant, overflowing. But the enemy has done everything to convince you otherwise. He's whispered that you're too broken, too late, too weak. Lies. All lies. You are never too broken for me. You are never too far for me to reach. You are never too late for the blessings I've reserved just for you. When I said I would never leave you, I meant it. Not just in the good seasons, but especially in the ones where you feel too weary to pray, too numb to hope. I stay. I stay when others walk out. I hold you when you have nothing left. And I fight for you when you can't lift your hands anymore. So lean into me now. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need faith. The kind of faith that lets go of control and grabs hold of my hand. I won't let you fall. Yes, the journey will stretch you. Yes, there will be days of confusion and moments of doubt. But I won't waste a single tear. Not one step will be in vain. What the enemy meant for harm, I will turn for good. What once brought shame will become your testimony. The weakness you tried to hide will be the very place my strength shines brightest. And you won't walk this path alone. I am sending people, real people, filled with my spirit, who will walk with you, speak life into you, and remind you who you are when you forget. You've known what it feels like to be surrounded yet still feel alone. But that is changing. Your circle will shrink, but your peace will grow. The ones I bring into your life next will not compete with you or confuse you. They will complement your calling, and you will feel something rare. Safety. You'll be safe to speak your truth, to dream out loud, to worship without fear of judgment. The lonely nights are coming to an end. I know you've questioned whether the things I promised will ever come to pass. I know how hard it's been to keep believing, but keep going, keep seeking, keep showing up. I am not slow as some understand slowness. I am strategic. I am aligning things in ways you can't yet see. And when it happens, it will be sudden. It will be divine. And you'll realize why the wait was so long. It wasn't because you were forgotten. It was because the promise was bigger than what you thought. Bigger than your fears, bigger than your past, and definitely bigger than your understanding. So this is my invitation. Not just to survive another day, but to begin again. To wake up with expectation, not dread. To pray with boldness, not obligation. To dream again, not cautiously, but courageously. To believe again, not in people or outcomes, but in me. I want to do something new in your life. I want to breathe on the dry bones. I want to set a fire in your soul that nothing can extinguish. But I need your heart to be open. Not perfect, just open. That's all. Just one whisper from you, and I will flood your life with the kind of love that silences all the other voices. You've listened to fear long enough. Now listen to me. This is just the beginning, child. Don't look back. What's ahead is worth everything it cost you to get here. Keep walking. Keep trusting. I've already gone before you. You've spent so much of your life believing you had to earn your place, prove your worth, justify your existence through performance, perfection, or pain. But I never asked that of you. You are not on trial in my presence. You are not standing before a judge waiting for a verdict. You are with your Father, your refuge, your Creator, the one who saw you in your earliest breath and who sees you now, even in your most uncertain moment. I did not call you to exhaustion, to endless striving, or to keep building your identity from the approval of others. I called you to rest in me, to walk with me, to rediscover what it means to simply be beloved, chosen, redeemed. You are not who the world says you are. You are not your past, not your failures, not the voices that wounded you. You are who I say you are, and I say you are mine. And because you are mine, I will not let you live beneath your inheritance. You were made for more than survival. You were made to reign, not in pride or ambition, but in purpose. You've been trained in fire, refined through loss, humbled through waiting. All of it, though painful, was not without meaning. I was shaping your capacity, increasing your wisdom, enlarging your heart to hold what I am about to pour into your life. And no, not everyone saw the process. Not everyone understood the tears you cried behind closed doors. They didn't see you praying in the middle of the night, wrestling with me in silence, laying down dreams only to pick them up again in faith. But I saw. I always saw. And now I am calling you out of hiding. I am calling you to rise. Not because you feel ready, but because I've already equipped you. There is a calling on your life that no one else can fulfill. A role in this world that only you were designed to occupy. You've tried to downplay it, dismiss it, even disqualify yourself. But I keep bringing it back to you. That nudge you feel, that persistent stirring in your soul, that is me. I am not asking you to be perfect before you begin. I am asking you to say yes. Say yes to the unknown. Say yes to the impossible. Say yes to the dream you thought was too far gone. Because when you partner with me, what you see as impossible becomes inevitable. I will use everything. The brokenness, the setbacks, the seasons of silence. They are not wasted. In fact, they are the very soil in which your calling is planted. Where others see failure, I see foundation. Where others see delay, I see design. I've been preparing you when it looked like nothing was happening. I've been positioning you for influence, not for the sake of status, but to shine my light through your life in a way only you can. There are people who will come to know me simply because they saw what I did in you. Your life is not just a story. It's a message, a testimony, a living, breathing example of my redemption. And you don't need to know every detail of the plan. You just need to trust the one who wrote it. I am not improvising your future. I authored it before time began. I know the exact moment your tears will be wiped away, the exact day the doors will open, the exact season your promise will bloom. Nothing has caught me off guard. I am not surprised by the detours, the delays, or even your doubts. I factored in your fears, your weaknesses, your stumbles, and I still chose you. You were never plan B. You were always my delight. So now I ask you to dream again. Not safe, predictable dreams, but divine ones. Dreams that scare you. Dreams that challenge your faith. Dreams that require you to walk on water and trust that you will not sink. I want you to look at your hands and realize they were made to build something eternal. I want you to look at your voice and understand it carries the authority of heaven when you speak my truth. I want you to look at your scars and see them not as signs of failure, but as evidence of survival. Every scar has a story, and every story has power. You carry power, not of this world, not from your own strength, but through my spirit that lives within you. You may feel small, but I specialize in using what's small to change what's significant. A mustard seed of faith can move a mountain. A whisper in the secret place can shift the heavens. A single act of obedience can break generational chains. Do not underestimate what I can do through you. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for obedience. Even if all you can do today is take one small step, take it. That's all I need. One step toward the call, one moment of surrender, one breath of faith. That's how miracles begin. And they will come. The miracles, the breakthroughs, the confirmation. But they don't always look how you expect. Sometimes they come as a phone call. Sometimes as a quiet moment where peace floods your heart for no reason you can explain. Sometimes as the right word at the right time from someone you didn't expect. Sometimes they come in the silence, where everything around you is still but you suddenly know, deep down, that I am here, and I am moving. I want you to walk in that kind of awareness, that kind of boldness. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you know the one who does. I am with you, I go before you, and I have already made a way, so don't hold back anymore. Don't play small to make others comfortable. Don't dim your light to avoid being misunderstood. You were never meant to blend in. You were made to shine, to be set apart, to carry my presence into dark places. And you will, because you are ready even if you don't feel it. You are called even if you don't see it. And you are chosen no matter who walked away. Now lift your eyes, child. The season you feared would never end is closing. And what I'm about to reveal will make you forget the long nights of weeping. Joy is coming. Purpose is coming. Clarity is coming. Because I am coming, in power and in peace, to meet you exactly where you are, and to take you where only I can lead. You've been walking with a limp for so long, you've begun to forget what it feels like to be whole. The pain has become familiar, like a background noise you've learned to tune out just enough to function, but not enough to truly live. You tell yourself you're fine, but I know better. I see past the practiced smiles, the deflections, the brave face you show the world. I see the sleepless nights, the aching behind your silence, the tears you've cried alone. And I want to say something to you now that may be hard to believe, but let it sink in slowly. You don't have to carry this pain anymore. There is no medal for enduring more than you were made to hold. No crown for burying your wounds so deep they harden into bitterness. That's not what I want for you. That was never my intention. You weren't meant to live numbed, disconnected, guarded. You were made to feel fully, to laugh freely, to love boldly. But I know why you've built the walls. I know what hurt you. I know who disappointed you. I know how trust was broken, how words were twisted, how you were left alone when you needed someone to stay. You don't need to explain it all. I already know. And still, I am not angry with you for withdrawing. I understand why you pulled away. But now, child, it's time to come out of hiding. Healing is not a luxury for the lucky few. It is your inheritance. Bought not with silver or gold but with my blood. It is yours for the asking. And no, I don't promise that the memories will vanish overnight. But I do promise this. If you give them to me, I will take their power away. What used to define you will no longer control you. What once crippled you will become the very place where my glory shines through. The cracks in your heart are not signs of weakness. They are the places where my light breaks in. So let me begin if you're willing. I won't rush you. I won't force you. But I am here, with open arms, ready to touch the places you've never let anyone touch before. That regret you've carried like a shadow, I'm ready to lift it. That shame you've tried to outrun, I'm ready to erase it. That grief that catches you off guard even after all this time, I'm ready to hold it with you until it no longer paralyzes you. Let's not keep patching over pain that needs to be healed. Let's not keep pretending that you're unbothered when you're bleeding inside. Come to me honestly. Come to me as you are. That's all I ask. And yes, your body too. I see how it's been affected. How stress has settled into your muscles. How fatigue has become your norm. How the ailments you've ignored are beginning to speak louder than your prayers. I see the doctor visits, the silent fears, the unspoken questions. I see you wondering if this is just how things will be from now on. But hear me clearly. I am still the healer. I have not changed. I do not only heal the soul. I restore the body, renew the mind, and strengthen the spirit. You are not too far gone. There is nothing about your biology that I cannot touch. Nothing about your health that I cannot redeem. You were knit together by my hands. I know how to restore what's broken. But more than that, I want you to live in peace. Not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of wholeness. The kind of peace that settles in your bones and tells every part of your being, you are safe now. You are loved now. You are home. That's what I'm offering. Not a life free of hardship, but a life filled with my presence in every hardship. And with my presence comes rest. Not just physical rest, but soul-deep rest. The kind that stills your racing thoughts, that silences anxiety, that calms the storms even while they're still raging outside. I want you to breathe again, really breathe, to wake up and not dread the day, to walk through life without the weight of yesterday pressing against your chest. I want to restore the joy you forgot was possible, the kind of laughter that comes not from a joke, but from the overflow of peace. I want to lift your eyes from the ashes of what didn't work out and set them on the garden I'm planting in its place. You thought the fire destroyed everything, but it only cleared the ground for something new. Something beautiful. Something you weren't ready for before, but you are now. And your relationships, I see the fracture lines there too. The silence between hearts that once knew how to speak. The misunderstandings that piled up like walls. The pain that turned closeness into distance. I want to heal that too. No, not every person will return. Not every wound will be mended the way you imagined. But if you trust me, I will restore what matters most. I will bring the right voices into your life. Voices that echo love and wisdom, not judgment or control. I will remove the ones who only drained your peace, and I will strengthen the ones who reflect my heart for you. You don't need to chase people who walked away. Let them go. If they left, it was part of my protection. And if I will something to be restored, it will be by grace, not by force. You only need to stay close to me. I will bring reconciliation where it is possible. I will bring release where it is necessary. And in all things, I will bring peace. So now I ask you, will you let me heal you? Will you stop pretending that you're okay just to make others comfortable? Will you lay down the mask, the armor, the defenses you've built to survive? I know why you built them, but you don't need them anymore. You're not in danger here, not in my presence. You're safe, you're seen, you're loved completely. Let the tears fall, let the past go. Let my hands do what only they can, make you whole again. Because child, you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not a lost cause or a broken thing to be discarded. You are a soul I died to save, a heart I long to hold, a life I have called into beauty, into light, into full restoration. This is not the end for you. This is the turning point, the moment heaven touches earth in the quiet corners of your soul. Healing begins now, not tomorrow. Now, let it begin. I have watched you walking through the wilderness, trying to make sense of a path that has felt more like exile than purpose. You've looked around and wondered, why does it seem like others are arriving while I remain in delay? You've seen others build while you've been called to wait. You've heard whispers of destiny, but the silence of your present has almost convinced you that you misheard. But no, child, you did not mishear. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. What you call waiting, I call planting. And now comes the season of awakening. You are standing on the threshold of new life, and I am calling you to step forward. Not hesitantly, not fearfully, but boldly. This is the season I've promised. A time of rebuilding, of regrowth, of resurrection. Not just of dreams, but of identity, of relationships, of strength. You thought your best days were behind you, that your joy was something you'd have to recall rather than relive. But I am the God of the present, not just the past. I am the God of now, and I say this moment is fertile ground. Life will spring forth again. Your dry places are about to bloom. Look around. Everything may still seem barren. You may not yet see the fruit, but something is shifting. Deep beneath the surface, the roots are waking up. The prayers you thought were buried have taken root, and now they are pressing upward, breaking through the soil of delay and disappointment. I am breathing on every buried promise. I am resurrecting the purpose you thought was too late to fulfill. The breath of my spirit is not just moving, it's igniting. This is not the return to the old. This is the rise of something new. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that flicker of hope trying to rise again? Don't push it down this time. Let it rise. Fan it into flame. Let your soul believe again. You were never meant to live in spiritual drought. You were never designed to survive on empty, to keep walking without vision, to keep hoping without seeing. No, I've placed within you rivers of living water, and today I'm breaking open the well of joy, the well of creativity, the well of fire. Let it flow again. You don't need to earn it, just receive it. This new season won't require the same version of you that walked through the last one. You cannot carry old mindsets into new movements. You cannot carry bitterness into blessing. You cannot carry fear into fulfillment. That's why the shaking happened. That's why the loss came. Not to punish you, but to strip away what could not go with you where I'm leading. I had to make room. I had to clear the path. And though it broke your heart, it made space for what's coming. You're not who you were, and that's the miracle. You're stronger now, wiser, more dependent on me, and because of that, you're ready. Ready for the doors I'm about to open. Ready for the assignments you'll soon carry. Ready for the divine connections that will enter your life, not to distract you, but to multiply what I'm doing in you. You don't need to chase opportunities. You don't need to fight for a seat at anyone's table. I am building the table for you. And when I prepare a table, no man can remove your name from it. You were chosen for this moment, not by accident, but by intention. Everything in your life, every tear, every silence, every delay, was a thread in the divine tapestry of now. And now I ask you to shift your posture. You've spent enough time bowed in defeat. It's time to rise, to stand tall, to lift your head not in pride, but in holy expectation. Because what I'm doing next will require you to see yourself the way I see you. Not broken, but bold. Not overlooked, but anointed. Not forgotten, but destined. This is not the season to shrink. This is not the season to hide. This is the season to emerge. I'm not just waking up your life, I'm waking up your spirit. I'm reviving your prayer life, your hunger for my presence, your passion for truth. What once felt forced will soon feel like fire. The words of my scripture will leap off the page and into your bloodstream. Worship will no longer be something you do, it will be something you become. Every part of you will begin to align with heaven's rhythm. And as you align, you will begin to attract what belongs to you in the spirit. And yes, there will be resistance. The enemy will not sit still while you rise. But you do not need to fear him. I've already overcome him. The cross was not a moment of surrender. It was the ultimate victory. And that victory lives in you. So walk in it. Speak from it. Declare it over your home, your health, your finances, your future. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are under the authority of my kingdom, and my kingdom does not shake. So prepare, beloved. Prepare your heart. Prepare your home. Make space for miracles. Make room for blessings. Open your eyes each morning with the expectancy of someone who knows heaven is about to break through. Because it is. The things you've been waiting for, they're not years away. They're already moving toward you. I am accelerating things. What once took years will now happen in days. What once felt impossible will feel inevitable. I will do more than you imagined, and I will do it in such a way that everyone will know. It was me. So take the first step. Even if your hands tremble, even if your heart races, take the step. Apply. Speak. Move. Plant. Praise. Begin. I am with you. I go before you. And I have already prepared the ground. This is your season. This is your moment. And it begins now. You've been wondering if you're truly ready, if what you carry is enough, if you still have time, still have strength, still have a voice that matters. You've questioned whether someone like you, someone who has walked through pain, doubt, and silence, can really make a difference. And my answer is not only yes, it is especially yes, because I do not call the perfect. I call the willing, and you, my child, are more ready than you realize. You have walked through the fire and emerged with a heart that understands pain, a soul that recognizes despair, and now you are being called to be a carrier of healing. You are not just a survivor, you are a vessel of redemption. What I have poured into you was never meant to stop with you. The comfort you received in the night, it was not just for your survival, it was for someone else's awakening. The lessons you've learned in silence, they will become the very words that free another. You've been praying for purpose, wondering when it would arrive. But don't you see? The purpose has been growing all along, in the dark, in the hidden places, where no applause could reach. And now I am calling you to release it, not with perfection, not with performance, but with love. This world is starving for what you carry. Not talent, not charisma, not perfection. Love, real love, the kind that listens, the kind that stays, the kind that reaches into the shadows and doesn't flinch, the kind that says, I see you, I hear you, I'm with you. That is the love I've poured into your heart. That is the light you carry. You don't need to wait until the storm ends to begin. You can shine even in the rain. And in doing so, you will guide others toward me. You've seen what it's like to walk alone, and now I'm calling you to walk with others. To be the one who notices when no one else does. To be the hand that reaches out when everyone else walks away. To be the voice of hope in a generation drowning in noise. You don't need a stage. You don't need a microphone. Your life, your presence, your prayers, these are the instruments of heaven. When you speak life, heaven moves. When you love unconditionally, chains break. When you show up with sincerity, healing begins. Never underestimate the power of simply being there. Never doubt the sacredness of your story. I've placed you in your family for a reason. In your community for a reason. In this generation at this exact time for a reason. You are not randomly scattered, you are divinely positioned. Your voice was meant to echo in places others cannot reach. Your kindness was meant to crack the hardest of hearts. Your example was meant to show what grace looks like in motion. And when you walk into rooms, you don't just enter with your presence, you bring my presence. The Spirit of the living God walks with you. So don't hide anymore. Don't shrink so others can feel comfortable. Don't silence your fire to keep the peace. I have set a fire in your bones that cannot be ignored. And if you let it burn, it will illuminate paths not just for you, but for those still stumbling in the dark. This is how revival begins, not with crowds, but with courage. Not with popularity, but with obedience. If you love one person well today, you've done something eternal. If you lift one soul who was ready to give up, you've shaken the gates of hell. I see every small act, every quiet prayer, every unnoticed gesture of mercy. They are seeds in my garden, and I will make them bloom. The enemy wanted you isolated, silenced, disqualified. He thought your past would shut your future down. He thought your fear would keep your faith silent. But look at you now, still here, still believing, still saying yes. And because of that, you are dangerous to darkness. You are a carrier of light, not because you've never been broken, but because you have been broken, and now you know where healing lives. You carry the testimony of my grace, and that testimony will break chains. It begins at home, with the ones who see you every day, with your children, your spouse, your siblings, your neighbors. Let them see your peace and wonder where it comes from. Let them hear your kindness and feel my presence. Let them taste your joy and know it came from heaven. You don't need to preach, your life will preach. Your smile will be a sermon. Your forgiveness will be revival. Your patience will be prophecy. And your resilience will be the banner that says, God still restores. And when they ask, because they will, when they ask how you made it through, tell them about me. Tell them about the nights you almost gave up, and the mornings I lifted your head. Tell them about the times you had nothing left and I gave you more than you asked for. Tell them that it wasn't your strength, but mine. That it wasn't your wisdom, but my grace. That it wasn't luck, it was love. Unstoppable, unrelenting, undeserved love. That's what saved you. That's what fills you now. That's what you'll carry into every room, every conversation, every moment. You were made to love, to lead, to listen, to lift. This is your mission. It won't always look spectacular. It won't always feel spiritual. Sometimes it will be messy. Sometimes it will go unnoticed. Sometimes it will feel like planting in dry ground. But every act matters. Every seed matters. And heaven is watching. Heaven rejoices every time you choose compassion over judgment. Every time you forgive when it hurts. Every time you believe when it's easier to quit. You're building something eternal. So go, my child. Go with boldness. Go with tenderness. Go with fire in your eyes and softness in your voice. Go with the full confidence that you are backed by heaven itself. I have gone before you. I will walk beside you. I will speak through you. I will heal through you. You are not alone in this calling. You are not abandoned in this mission. You are chosen. You are commissioned. You are mine. You've often wondered if my presence was reserved only for the holy, only for the perfect, only for those who never doubted or fell. But what if I told you that I've been closer in your failures than even in your victories? That I never waited for you to climb higher before I drew near, but that I knelt down low to meet you right where you were? My child, my presence is not a reward for the sinless. It is a lifeline for the desperate, a refuge for the weary, a companion for those who wander. I never left, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you forgot to look for me, even when your prayers turned into sighs and your hope ran dry. I was there. I am here. You've searched for signs, longed for confirmation, asked for proof that I'm still near. But sometimes the proof isn't in the spectacular. It's in the stillness. In the moment you quiet the noise and realize the peace that settled in wasn't your own strength. It was me. In the moment your fear began to unravel. Not because the situation changed, but because your heart suddenly remembered. You're not facing this alone. That's me. I don't always announce my arrival with thunder and lightning. More often, I come like morning light, gentle, steady, undeniable. I come like breath in your lungs, like warmth in your chest, like a whisper that stills the chaos. Don't look for me only in the loud. Look for me in the quiet. You've asked me before, God, how do I hear your voice? And I tell you now, my voice doesn't compete. It waits. It waits until your mind slows down, until your soul becomes still enough to notice what was always there. I speak not to impress, but to impart. Not to overwhelm, but to embrace. My voice isn't always a sound. It's an awareness, a knowing, a sudden clarity that rises within you when you least expect it. You'll recognize it because it carries peace. Not ease, but peace. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of confidence that I am in control. I want you to know me not just through sermons or songs, not just through Sunday mornings or sacred spaces. I want you to know me like a friend knows a friend, like a child knows a father, like a lover knows the subtle changes in tone and heartbeat. I want to walk with you in your mornings, sit with you in your silence, laugh with you in your joy, weep with you in your grief. You don't have to wait for a quiet room to encounter me. I am with you in the laundry, in traffic, in conversations, in the waiting line. I am with you in your thoughts, in your decisions, in your questions. I am with you when you wake up. I am with you when sleep won't come. You have never been without me, not even once. You've heard about the tabernacle, the temple, the sacred veil torn. But have you understood yet what that means for you? It means I moved into your life, into your heart. My presence is no longer hidden behind walls or rituals. It lives within you. You carry me. You host my glory. That's why the atmosphere changes when you walk into a room. That's why you feel things others miss. That's why your heart breaks for people who never even notice you praying for them. Because I live in you, and I move through you, and I speak even when you don't know I'm speaking. You are not just walking with me. You are walking in me. And because I dwell in you, I want to teach you to become aware. Not just occasionally, but constantly. I want you to walk in communion, not just communication. To live in rhythm with my spirit. To notice when I nudge your heart. When I whisper a warning. When I draw your attention to someone hurting. When I lead you to a verse at just the right moment. All of it is me speaking. All of it is me, loving you in layers, layer upon layer until you know you're never alone again. You don't need to be afraid of missing me. When your heart is sincere, I will make sure you hear me. When your desire is to walk with me, I will never let you walk in the wrong direction for too long. Even your missteps are under my mercy. Even your confusion is not wasted. I know how to redirect you. I know how to guide gently, not with pressure, but with peace. When you follow me, it may not always make sense to your mind, but it will settle in your soul. That's how you'll know. I want to dwell with you, not just visit. I want to be part of your plans, not just your rescue. I want to be the one you speak to first, not just the one you call in crisis. I want to laugh with you when the sun is shining and sit with you when the sky turns gray. My presence is not seasonal. I am not only the God of revival, I am also the God of routine. The God of dishes and deadlines and dinner tables. I'm not just found in miracles. I'm found in Monday mornings. If you let me, I will turn every ordinary moment into holy ground. I'm not far. You don't have to climb to reach me. You don't have to shout to be heard. Just whisper. Just breathe. Just pause. I'm already near. I'm already listening. I'm already loving you more than you can comprehend. And nothing, not your failures, not your past, not your doubts, can drive me away. I am not just present. I am permanent. I am not just visiting. I am abiding, and I'm not going anywhere. So now I ask you to rest, not because the work is done, but because you're not doing it alone. Rest in my nearness. Rest in the truth that I am not a distant God. I am Emmanuel, God with you in the mess, with you in the miracle, with you in the in-between. Let your soul breathe. Let your spirit exhale. Let your heart come home, because you are not a stranger in my presence. You are family. You belong here, with me, always. You've seen battles, some visible, some unseen. You've fought to keep your faith, to guard your peace, to hold your ground when the winds of life tried to uproot you. You felt surrounded by enemies you could not name. Fear, doubt, shame, discouragement. They came without warning, pressing in on every side, whispering lies into the silence. But through it all, you remained. And now I tell you, It wasn't by accident. It wasn't by your own strength. It was me. I held you. I shielded you. I stood between you and what was sent to destroy you. Many times you didn't even realize the battle that raged around you. But I did. I saw every attack planned against you, and I blocked it before it ever reached your door. What you called a coincidence was my intervention. What you called luck was my mercy. What you called survival was actually victory. And I say this to you now not to stir fear, but to awaken awe. You are living proof that the enemy failed. That every plan he formed, every trap he set, every storm he sent, none of it worked. Because I am your defender. You don't need to fight for what I've already won. The cross was not a suggestion of love. It was the declaration of final authority. When I said, "It is finished," I meant every curse, every accusation, every chain that ever tried to hold you. Finished, done, broken, defeated. You are not fighting for freedom, you are fighting from freedom. And that changes everything. You don't need to live from fear, from scarcity, from desperation. You live from victory, from identity, from my promise that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. But victory doesn't always feel like triumph. Sometimes it feels like endurance, like standing firm when everything says run, like waking up when all you want to do is disappear, like praying again even when the answers feel far away. Victory isn't always loud. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's obedient. It's choosing truth over comfort, faith over logic, my word over your feelings. That is the kind of victory the enemy fears most, the kind that doesn't look impressive on the outside, but is unshakable at its core. I'm not looking for heroes who never fall. I'm looking for sons and daughters who get up again, who remember who they are even after they've failed, who return to me not with perfect records, but with open hearts. That's what makes heaven rejoice. Not performance, but presence. When you come back to me after the storm, after the mistake, after the silence, I don't meet you with scorn. I run to you with joy. I place a robe on your shoulders and a ring on your hand. Because victory is not about never losing, it's about always coming home. You've asked me, why so many battles? And my answer is not to punish, but to prepare. For every calling there is conflict. For every destiny, resistance. The weight of your future required the strength you gained in the fight. I did not cause the pain, but I used it. I transformed it. I allowed it to become the very thing that built the spiritual muscle you now carry. Every wound is now a weapon. Every scar, a seal of my power at work in you. You are not marked by your pain. You are marked by my promise. And now I say to you, it's time to fight differently. Not with striving, not with fear, not with fists clenched in frustration, but with worship, with trust, with rest. The enemy cannot touch what you surrender to me. He has no access to what is sealed in my name. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and walk in the authority I've placed on your life. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are a warrior, a conqueror, a child of the Most High. I have placed angels around you, yes, even now. You may not see them, but they're there, standing watch, guarding your steps, pushing back darkness you didn't even know was coming. I've placed my spirit within you, not a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You are equipped. You are protected. You are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. And every time you choose me, every time you stand in faith, every time you declare my word, you strike a blow that echoes in eternity. I am teaching your hands to war and your heart to rest. I am raising you up not just for yourself, but for those who come after you, for the generations who will rise because you chose not to quit, for the family that will know freedom because you broke the cycle, for the friend who will find me because you spoke when it was uncomfortable, for the stranger who will feel peace because you carried my presence into the room. This victory is not just personal, it's prophetic. It's generational. It's eternal. And when the enemy comes again, and he will, I want you to remember this. He's not after your job or your plans or even your peace. He's after your position. He wants to shake your foundation. He wants to make you forget who you are and whose you are. But now you know. Now you remember. You are mine. Seated with me in heavenly places. Covered by my blood. Surrounded by my glory. And that is a position he cannot reach. So rise, beloved. Rise not in arrogance, but in anointing. Rise not in vengeance, but in vision. Rise not to prove something, but to live fully in the promise I've given. You have nothing to fear. Not tomorrow. Not the unknown. Not the voices that try to drag you back. You are free. You are whole. And you are walking in victory because I already won it for you. There comes a moment in every story where the character must decide, not just who they are, but who they will become. A moment when turning back is easier than pressing forward, but the call to something greater becomes impossible to ignore. This is that moment for you. You've walked through healing. You've tasted victory. You've seen glimpses of the promise. And now I stand before you, not with pressure, but with invitation. Will you trust me, not just with your pain, but with your purpose? Not just with your questions, but with your calling? You've held your dreams close, sometimes too close, afraid that if you let them go, they might vanish. But what you hold tightly in fear, you risk losing. What you surrender in faith, you allow me to multiply. That vision in your heart, that burden that never leaves, that quiet sense that you were born for something more, I placed it there, and now I ask you to trust me with it, to lay it at my feet, not in resignation, but in release. Because what I have planned is bigger than what you've imagined. It won't always look the way you pictured, but it will be more than you dared to hope. I don't need you to have every answer. I need your yes. The kind of yes that says, even if I don't know how, I'll still go. The kind of yes that trembles but moves anyway. The kind of yes that has nothing to offer except availability. And still, it's the yes that changes everything. That's what I'm looking for. Not skill. Not confidence. Just surrender. Just trust. Just you, willing to step into waters that haven't parted yet. Knowing that when you move, I move. You've seen me as comforter, as healer, as savior. But now I want you to know me as commander. As the one who gives instruction, who charts the course, who calls you beyond your comfort zone into a life of supernatural obedience. I am not calling you to a life of safety. I am calling you to a life of significance. A life where faith leads, not fear. A life where risk is not reckless, but required. A life where the question isn't what if I fail, but what if I never try? You've prayed for me to show up, and now I'm asking, will you show up? Will you rise each morning with intention, with resolve, with expectation that you are not just surviving this life? You are sent into it? Every moment is divine. Every assignment sacred. You've asked for open doors, and now I'm asking, will you walk through them when they open, even if you feel unprepared? Because I will prepare you as you go. You won't feel ready until you start moving. And that's the miracle. That as you walk, provision comes. As you speak, wisdom flows. As you reach, heaven responds. You've been waiting for me to act, but I've been waiting for you to trust. You've looked for signs in the sky, but the sign is already burning within your heart. You know the next step. You've known it for a while. It's been echoing in your prayers, showing up in your dreams, stirring in your quiet moments. You've tried to reason it away, to delay it with distraction, to excuse it with fear. But I'm calling you again. And this time, not with a whisper, but with a shout from heaven. Now is the time. Now is the moment to move. I'm not calling you to chase outcomes. I'm calling you to walk in obedience. The fruit is mine to produce. The steps are yours to take. And if you'll take them, you'll see miracles unfold in places you thought were barren. You'll see relationships restored, territories claimed, influence extended. Not because you forced it, but because you followed. This is not a performance. It's a partnership. I don't need you to impress me. I need you to trust me. And yes, the road will be narrow. There will be moments of resistance, misunderstanding, even loneliness. But I will be with you. I will walk with you through every storm. I will speak when your strength fades. I will carry you when your feet fail. And through it all, I will be working all things, not just the beautiful but also the broken, together for your good. for my glory, for the sake of many who will find me through your obedience. You may not see it now, but generations are waiting on the other side of your yes. There are lives that will change because you chose courage over comfort. There are stories that will begin because you dared to write the next line. Your obedience is a seed. It may feel small. It may look buried. But I promise you it will grow. In time. In power. In ways you cannot yet imagine. So take my hand. Let go of the fear of failure. Let go of the need to know every detail. Let go of the lies that say you're not enough. I am enough in you. I am strong where you are weak. I am clear where you are confused. I am faithful when you are uncertain. I am God and I will not fail you. This is the moment, not tomorrow, not when it's easier, not when you feel more ready. Now, choose the narrow road. Choose the next step. Choose the calling over the comfort. Because in the place of surrender, you will find the greatest adventure you've ever known. The one I've been writing for you since before you took your first breath. Step into it now, with me, for I go before you. Obedience was never meant to be a burden. It was meant to be a doorway, a rhythm, a song that brings your heart into harmony with mine. But I know how you've been taught to see it, as something heavy, something rigid, something that demands rather than delights. And that's why today I'm peeling back the veil and showing you the truth. Obedience is not about following rules. It's about following me. Not to prove your worth, but because you've already been called worthy. Not to earn love, but because you've already been embraced. You see, when your heart is close to mine, obedience is no longer forced. It becomes natural. Not because the path gets easier, but because love transforms everything. Love makes surrender beautiful. Love turns sacrifice into joy. Love changes the way you hear my voice, not as a command, but as an invitation. An invitation to walk beside me in real time, to move where I move, to do what I'm doing. Not because you have to, because you want to, because you trust me enough to believe that wherever I lead is always better than where you'd go on your own. You were never designed to live disconnected from me. That's why you feel that ache when you drift. That tugging in your soul isn't guilt. It's grace. It's me calling you back into rhythm, back into the flow of divine life. Not to control you, but to walk with you, to do life with you. I want to be more than your rescue. I want to be your rhythm, the one who shapes your thoughts, colors your words, inspires your decisions. I want to be your breath, your stillness, your courage. The more you walk with me, the more you'll understand. I'm not dragging you toward holiness. I'm dancing with you through it. And yes, there will be times when obedience feels costly. Times when you'll be asked to say no to what your flesh craves. Times when you'll have to walk away from what looks good to pursue what is truly God. But in those moments, I am not absent. I am the strength behind your yes. I am the peace after the goodbye. I am the joy that rises after the morning. Every time you choose me over the moment, you create space for heaven to touch earth through your life. I see the places where you still hesitate, the conversations you avoid, the steps you delay, the habits you still hold with one hand while lifting the other to praise me. But I'm not here to condemn you. I'm here to gently ask, do you trust me? Do you believe that what I have for you is better than what you've been holding on to? Do you believe that obedience is not loss, but gain? That letting go of something temporary can open the way to something eternal? I know what you've given up. I know what you've walked away from. I know what it cost you to say yes. And I see the parts of you that still ache, still wonder if the sacrifice was worth it. Let me assure you, it was. Nothing surrendered in love is ever wasted in my kingdom. Every yes you give me becomes a seed. And what you sow in surrender, you will reap in power, in peace, in purpose beyond your imagination. Your obedience is building something even when you don't see it. Trust the process. Trust the gardener. Because I am not just leading you to fulfill a calling. I am shaping you into a person who reflects my heart. And that doesn't happen in a rush. It happens in the hidden, in the daily, the ordinary, the often unseen places where you choose me again and again, even when no one notices. That's where my presence grows. That's where your roots go deep. That's where fruit begins to form, Not the kind that fades, but the kind that lasts. And one day, you'll look back and realize, obedience wasn't a detour from joy. It was the road to it. Every boundary I drew was to protect your peace. Every not yet was to prepare something greater. Every closed door was my kindness in disguise. I've been weaving my faithfulness into every yes and every no, and it has all been for your good. So live like someone who's loved, not someone who's punished. Live like someone who's trusted, not someone who's trapped. My commands are not chains, they are wings. They lift you, they protect you, they carry you into the fullness of who you are. You are not a servant performing for approval. You are a child walking with your Father. That's what obedience really is, a walk, a journey, a life of alignment that keeps your feet on holy ground even when the road twists and turns. I don't need your perfection. I want your attention, your affection, your agreement. I want your yes when no one is watching. I want your surrender not out of fear, but out of love. Because when your heart beats in rhythm with mine, everything changes. You begin to see what I see, feel what I feel, love who I love. And that's when you know you're truly alive, not because everything is perfect, but because you're walking with the perfect one. And when you stumble and you will, don't run from me. Run to me. I won't scold you. I'll hold you. I won't shame you. I'll restore you. Obedience isn't about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up and reach for my hand again. And I will always offer it. I will never grow tired of your return. I will never withhold my voice from a heart that desires to hear it. So today, once again, I invite you not to perform, not to strive, but to walk with me. To obey not out of pressure, but out of passion. To live not by rules, but by relationship. And to discover that in every step you take in alignment with me, you are not losing freedom, you are finally finding it. Joy is not the same as happiness. Happiness rises and falls with the tides of your circumstance. But joy, true joy, is different. Joy remains. Joy runs deeper than feelings, steadier than emotions, truer than the news you receive or the mood you wake up in. Joy is not a result of things going right. Joy is the result of being with me. Joy is a person, and that person is never far. I am with you, and when you learn to see me in everything, joy becomes the natural response, even in the unnatural moments. You've been taught to chase joy through outcomes. If only the healing came, if only the job opened, if only the relationship worked, then you'd feel alive again. But I never designed joy to be something you had to wait for. I designed it to be something you could live in now. Not because everything around you is peaceful, but because I am your peace. Not because the journey is easy, but because you don't walk it alone. Joy is not what happens when things get better. Joy is what happens when you realize I've been with you all along. Think about it. How many days have passed without you noticing the grace built into them? The sun rising right on time, the breath in your lungs, the way a certain song moved you, the laugh that broke through a heavy moment. These were not small things. They were whispers from me, proof that I'm still near, proof that even in the ordinary, I'm still moving. And when you start to see life through that lens, not waiting for something big to celebrate, but recognizing me in the small, you will begin to overflow with gratitude. And where gratitude grows, joy multiplies. Joy is not found in escaping the day. It's found in embracing it with me. The dishes, the deadlines, the distractions, they don't have to pull you from joy. They can pull you into it. Because when you invite me into the mundane becomes miraculous. Washing dishes becomes worship. Driving to work becomes communion. Making coffee becomes prayer. Joy is not just a flash of emotion. It's a lifestyle, a rhythm, a posture of your heart that says, even here, even now, you are good. And yes, there will be days that feel heavy. Days when the sky turns gray, when news breaks your heart, when people fail you or you fail yourself. But that's why joy is such a powerful force. It doesn't disappear when sorrow shows up. It doesn't run when pain arrives. It stands. It holds. It sings through tears and whispers truth into silence. Joy is the melody that grief cannot mute. It is the laughter that defies despair. It is the knowing that even in the darkest night, dawn is still coming, and the one who promised it is faithful. I don't expect you to fake it. I don't want your smile to be a mask. I want your joy to be real, authentic, grown from a heart that has tasted sorrow but still dares to hope. That kind of joy is not shallow. It's sacred. It doesn't ignore pain, transforms it. It doesn't deny struggle. It stands beside it and says, "You don't get the final word." Joy isn't loud. It doesn't need a stage. Sometimes it just sits quietly beside you in the silence and lets you breathe. Sometimes it's the strength to get out of bed. Sometimes it's the reminder that you are loved, even when you feel forgotten. That's what I want for you. Not just fleeting moments of happiness, but the deep, sustaining joy of knowing me, of walking with me, of waking up and knowing that today, no matter what happens, you are not alone, and your life is not random. It is part of something eternal. Every choice you make in love, every act of faith, every quiet prayer, every bold step, they are all threads in the great tapestry I'm weaving. And that truth, once you let it sink in, will fill you with joy no circumstance can take away. So pause today, breathe, look around, not with the eyes of stress or pressure, but with eyes wide open to grace. Hear the birds, feel the sunlight. Let the wind remind you that even what you cannot see is real. Let today remind you that I am here, that I have been here, that I will always be here. And let that truth become your song. Let it fill you not just in the good moments, but especially in the hard ones. Joy is not found in waiting for life to calm down. It's found in anchoring yourself in me when everything else is in motion. It's found in trusting that the one who holds your heart also holds tomorrow. It's found in the steady whisper that says, even this has purpose, even this season, even this stretch of road, even this delay. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, and because of that, joy is always possible. Let it be your strength today. Let it be your anchor, not just for you but for others, because the world is starving for real joy, not the kind that's posted and polished, but the kind that can cry and still believe, the kind that can bend and not break, the kind that makes others wonder, how are they still standing? And when they ask, tell them about me. Tell them about a joy the world didn't give, and therefore cannot take away. The way you see things shapes everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, even your destiny. And that's why I'm not just healing your heart. I'm healing your vision. Because when your vision changes, your whole world changes. What once felt like a prison becomes a classroom. What once felt like a curse becomes a catalyst. What once looked like the end becomes the beginning of something eternal. I want to teach you to see not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. To see through the lens of my love. To interpret every moment, every season, every silence. Not as abandonment, but as alignment with something greater. You've been staring at the closed door so long, you've missed the open one beside it. You've looked at the detour and called it delay, but I've called it direction. You've labeled certain things as losses, but I've written them into the foundation of your future. Let me show you what you haven't been able to see. Let me remove the veil of disappointment, of shame, of fear, so you can finally see with clarity, the kind of clarity that only comes from walking closely with me. I want you to see your life the way I see it, not as a collection of random events or painful chapters, but as a masterpiece in motion. Every thread matters. Every shadow enhances the light. Every no made room for a greater yes. You've judged the journey by what you could understand, but I'm asking you now to judge it by my character. Am I not faithful? Am I not kind? Have I not carried you when you couldn't carry yourself? If I've been faithful, then why would I stop now? There's more happening around you than what your natural eyes can detect. Heaven is moving. Angels are working. Prayers you forgot you prayed are still echoing in my throne room. You've seen silence, I've been orchestrating symphonies. You've seen stillness, I've been setting divine appointments. You've seen emptiness, I've been preparing overflow. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean I haven't done it. So trust me when I tell you, it's time to look again. Look again at what you've called broken. Look again at what you buried in regret. Look again at the very place you thought nothing good could grow. I am the God of resurrection. I breathe life into dry bones. I turn ashes into beauty. I restore years you thought were wasted. There is nothing beneath my touch that stays dead. If you give me your perspective, I'll give you new eyes. Eyes that see not just possibility, but promise. Eyes that see people not as problems, but as purpose. Eyes that see delay not as punishment, but as protection. Eyes that recognize me even when I show up in unexpected ways. Remember, I don't see as man sees. Man looks at appearance. I look at the heart. You see fragments, I see fulfillment. You see struggle, I see strength being forged. You see detours, I see destiny being carved with precision. My ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are not your thoughts, but they are good, and they are always, always for you. I want you to start asking a new question. Not why is this happening to me? But what are you showing me in this? That simple shift will unlock wisdom. It will awaken discernment. It will quiet the noise of panic and open the door to peace. Because suddenly, life is not just happening to you. It's happening with me. We are writing this story together. You are not a passive victim of circumstance. You are a co-laborer with heaven. And as you begin to walk in that awareness, even the hard places begin to glow with purpose. And no, you won't always see the full picture. But you don't need to. You just need to see enough to take the next step. Enough to know I'm leading. Enough to trust that even in the mystery, I'm still the God of order. And I always finish what I start. You've been focusing on the fog, but I've been focused on your future. You've been afraid of the unknown, but I've already gone ahead of you. I see the end from the beginning, and I say it is good. But more than seeing your future, I want you to see yourself the way I do. Not as broken or behind. Not as too much or not enough. I see strength in you haven't discovered. I see wisdom you haven't yet spoken. I see courage in the way you keep showing up. I see faith in every yes you've whispered through trembling lips. And I want you to begin to believe it, too. Because when you see yourself as I do, you'll stop playing small. You'll stop second-guessing. You'll stop giving power to voices that were never meant to define you. And you'll begin to walk with boldness. Not in pride, but in truth. Let me be your vision. Let me shape the way you see the world around you. Let my spirit guide the way you interpret pain, people, seasons, and even your past. Because when you start to see like me, nothing will ever look the same. You'll begin to recognize opportunity in unlikely places. You'll begin to love people you once avoided. You'll begin to honor your story instead of hiding it. You'll begin to walk through storms with peace, because you'll know the clouds don't change the position of the sun. So now I say to you, open your eyes, not just the ones on your face, but the ones in your heart. See again, hope again, believe again, because what you thought was the end was actually a beginning, and what you thought was dark is about to be flooded with light. Not because everything changes in an instant, but because you will. Because the moment you see what I see, nothing else has the power to control you. Not fear, not shame, not what they said, not what you've lost. Just me, just grace, just glory unfolding, one moment at a time. Love was never meant to be an emotion you chase. It was always meant to be a life you live. You were created in love, by love, for love. And the moment you begin to understand how deeply, how completely, how unconditionally I love you, that's the moment everything begins to change. Because once you are rooted in my love, fear loses its grip. Shame no longer writes your story, and rejection no longer has a home in your heart. You become unshakable, not because life is easy, but because love has become your foundation. You've heard about my love all your life. You've read the verses, heard the sermons, sung the songs. But I want more than your agreement. I want your experience. I want you to feel it in your bones, in the stillness, in the mundane. I want it to be the first truth you believe when you wake up and the last one you rest in when you sleep. I want you to stop questioning whether you're too much or not enough. You are mine. That settles it. You don't have to earn this love. You just have to let it reach you. Let it reach the parts of you still hiding. Let it reach the memories you've walled off. Let it reach the areas you've declared off limits, even from me. My love is not afraid of your mess. It's not repelled by your past. It's not offended by your weakness. It is steady. It is relentless. It is healing. And when you let it in, it won't just comfort you. It will transform you. Because real love doesn't leave you as it found you. It makes you whole, sets you free. But it doesn't stop there. Because my love was never meant to be bottled up inside you. It was meant to overflow. That's why the world feels heavy on your heart. That's why certain people stay on your mind. That's why compassion rises even when it's inconvenient. Because I've placed my love within you, not just to carry it, but to give it away. To be the arms that embrace, the voice that affirms, the presence that heals. You don't need a pulpit to preach. You don't need a title to lead. You only need a heart surrendered to me, and I will love others through you. You don't need to wait until you feel qualified. Love qualifies you. Love sends you. Love will teach you how to listen, how to forgive, how to stay soft when life tries to harden you. And that kind of love is what changes people, not arguments, not perfection, not performance. Just love. Consistent, gentle, patient love that reflects me. And yes, there will be times when love feels costly. Times when it means forgiving without apology. Staying when others walk away. Giving when you feel empty. But that's when it becomes holy. That's when it becomes more than emotion, it becomes sacrifice. It becomes worship. I'm not calling you to love only the easy ones. I'm calling you to love the forgotten, the complicated, the broken, the ones who don't love you back. The ones who challenge your boundaries and test your grace. Not because they deserve it, but because that's what I did for you. While you were still far off, I loved you. While you doubted, I pursued. While you hid, I called. And now I ask you to do the same. Not in your strength, but in mine. You'll never run out of love when you stay connected to me. I am the source. I am the well that never runs dry. The more you pour out, the more I pour in. And what begins as a trickle will become a river. A river of kindness, of empathy, of fierce compassion. A river that flows from your words, your hands, your life, touching places you didn't even realize were dry. That's how the world will know me. Not by your perfection, but by your love. They will see it in how you listen with your whole heart, in how you speak life instead of criticism, in how you show up when it's hard, stay when it's messy, and forgive when it costs. They will feel it when you pray in secret, when you weep for strangers, when you serve without applause. This is not small. This is kingdom. This is how my glory moves. Not through the loud and impressive, but through the faithful and quiet ones who choose love again and again and again. And when it gets hard, and it will, remember this, I never asked you to love from your own strength. I only asked you to stay close to me. Because when you abide in me, love becomes the fruit, not the labor. It grows naturally, effortlessly. You don't have to strive. Just stay. Stay in my presence. Stay in my word. Stay in the secret place where my voice reminds you daily. You are loved beyond measure. And from that place you'll love others with freedom, not fear. You were not made to be a reservoir. You were made to be a river, a carrier of living water. A reflection of heaven's heartbeat. And there are people waiting, thirsty for what you carry. Don't hold it back. Don't second guess it. Just love. It's the most powerful thing you'll ever do. So today I ask you to choose again. Not the kind of love the world sells, conditional, transactional, temporary. But the kind that costs. The kind that covers. The kind that never fails. The kind that looks like me. Let that be your legacy. Let that be your witness. Let that be your offering. Because when all else fades, only love remains. And the one who loves has truly seen me. There is a moment, one that comes for every soul, where standing at the edge of the promise is no longer enough. Where hearing about freedom is not the same as walking in it. Where glimpses of my goodness must become your daily bread, not just rare revelations. You are at that moment now. Not a moment of inspiration, but of decision. Not a moment of hype, but of holy surrender. I've brought you this far, and now I whisper gently but firmly, Will you trust me completely? Not halfway, not when it's easy, not only when the outcome is guaranteed, but now, fully, with your whole life. You've carried faith, yes, but now I'm asking for trust. Faith believes I can. Trust believes I will. Faith sings when the breakthrough comes. Trust sings while the walls are still standing. Faith opens the door. Trust walks through it. And I know what you're thinking. What if I let go and fall? What if I leap and land in the unknown? But what if you fly? What if this very leap is the one that sets you free? What if this surrender is not the end of your story, but the unlocking of it? I have never asked you to walk this road alone. Every step I've called you to take, I've already walked ahead of you. Every fear I'm asking you to release, I've already defeated. Every unknown I'm calling you into, I already dwell there. I'm not waiting on the other side of your obedience. I'm inside it. I'm in the moment you say yes. I'm in the tears that fall as you let go. I'm in the silence between your prayer and my answer. And I'm holding you, not just metaphorically, not just spiritually, but literally. I am the one sustaining your breath, steadying your heartbeat, and upholding your soul even when you feel like falling apart. I know surrender is hard. I know you've been disappointed before. You've trusted things that fell apart. You've trusted people who turned away. You've trusted timing that never seemed to arrive. But I am not them. I am not time. I am not circumstance. I am the unchanging, unshakable, unfailing God. I don't break what's placed in my hands. I bless it. I redeem it. I multiply it. And if you place your whole life in my hands, your dreams, your plans, your reputation, your future, I will do what you could never do on your own. But it will take everything. It will take your control, your conditions, your need to understand before obeying. I am not calling you to blind faith. I am calling you to relational trust. Trust that remembers who I am. Trust that lets go of needing to know the ending before taking the next step. Trust that says, even if this doesn't go how I imagined, I know you are still good. That kind of trust unlocks peace that makes no sense. It births joy in the middle of waiting. It opens doors you didn't knock on. It invites me to lead, not just occasionally, but always. And that's what I long for. Not just your worship in the sanctuary, but your surrender in the unknown. Not just your Sunday mornings, but your Monday decisions. Not just your prayers at night, but your trust in the morning when answers still seem far. I want all of it, not because I need control, but because I know what's ahead. I see the storms coming and the strength I've prepared for you. I see the breakthroughs that will require bravery. I see the people who need your voice, your light, your presence. I see the version of you that you haven't met yet, the one that rises not in striving, but in surrender. So here we are, at the edge of comfort, of certainty, of predictability, and on the other side, calling, power, presence, and yes, mystery. But I will be in the mystery. I will be in the movement. I will be in the moments where you feel overwhelmed, and I will hold you until you remember again. I've got you. I've always had you. You've been circling this mountain long enough, thinking, planning, preparing, waiting for the right time. But beloved, the right time is never about the calendar. It's about the yes in your spirit. It's about the moment you say, God, even if it costs me everything, I want you more. That's what I've been waiting for. Not perfection, just permission. Not your qualifications, just your trust. And if you give me that today, I will do what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. I will part waters. I will move mountains. I will bring you into places of favor you couldn't have forced if you tried. You don't need to chase opportunity. You only need to chase me. Seek me first, and everything else will follow. Let me lead you into the life you were born to live. Not a life of fear, but of fire. Not a life of striving, but of spirit. Not a life of control, but of complete surrender and complete peace. So will you trust me? With your heart, with your unknowns, with your yes. I will never misuse your surrender. I will never waste your pain. I will never ask for what I will not redeem. You are not giving up your life, you are giving it over to the one who created it. And in my hands, it will flourish beyond what you could ever imagine. Not without trial, but never without me. This is the moment, the holy invitation, not just to believe in me, but to believe with me. Not just to acknowledge my presence, but to follow my voice. Not just to worship me with words, but to walk with me in trust. Will you come? Will you step out of the boat, even when the water looks deep? Because what's waiting for you is not another test. It's transformation. It's the next chapter, and I'm writing it with you, for you, through you. All I need is your yes. You've come this far, through the shadows, through the silence, through the aching questions and the moments of awe. And now here we are, not at an ending but at a threshold, a doorway, a beginning. Because when you say yes to me, not just once, but daily, deeply, wholly, it doesn't conclude a story. It ignites one. A story no longer defined by fear, but by faith. No longer directed by circumstances, but by calling. No longer built on the shifting sand of self, but on the rock-solid presence of me. And so, I ask you gently but clearly, will you live with me not as an idea, not as an escape, not as a ritual, but as your everything? Will you walk with me? Not just in the sanctuary, but through the long halls of ordinary life, where socks are missing and bills are due and conversations feel hard, and your soul needs more than surface answers. Because I will meet you there, not only in the quiet morning with open Bibles, but in traffic, in tension, in laughter, in dishes, in disappointment, in delight. I am the God of the kitchen floor as much as the mountaintop, the God of both fire and stillness, the God who never stops coming close. You were never meant to visit me once a week. You were meant to dwell with me, to abide, to breathe in rhythm with my spirit, to wake up not wondering where I am, but recognizing I never left. Not once, not when you doubted, not when you fell, not when you wandered, not when you whispered, "Are you still with me?" And the silence made you question your worth. I was there, I am here, and I always will be. So let me be home. Let me be the place you run to and the place you live from. Let me be the voice that speaks louder than your fears. The arms that hold when no one else understands. The whisper in your chest that says, "You're safe now. I've got you. We're just getting started." Because life with me is not a theory. It's not a philosophy. It's not a distant light you hope to find. It's the fire already burning inside you. The kingdom already alive in your bones. The breath in your lungs that refuses to give up. I'm not just near you. I'm in you. I'm not just around you. I'm all over your story. And what I've begun, I will finish. You won't always feel it. That's okay. My presence is not a feeling. It's a fact. You'll have days when your faith feels small. But that doesn't make me any less faithful. You'll have moments where all you can say is, "Help," and that's enough. Because I'm not moved by eloquence. I'm moved by honesty. You'll have mornings where your heart feels numb and nights when it aches without words. I'll be there for those too, especially those. You've spent a lifetime looking for home, in approval, in performance, in productivity, in people. But none of it ever really filled you. Not for long. Because you weren't made to fit inside the world's mold. You were made for me. And when you let go of everything else, when you finally stop striving, stop proving, stop running, you'll find what your soul has been searching for all along. Rest. Real, holy, deep soul rest. Not as a reward for exhaustion, but as your birthright. I didn't create you to impress me. I created you to be with me, to walk with me, to dream with me, to reign with me. Not someday, but now, right now, in this breath, in this body, in this exact, imperfect, sacred moment. So take it all. The healing, the fire, the trust, the tears, the surrender, the joy, and bring it to this altar in your soul. And let this be your prayer, your offering, your anchor. Jesus, I'm yours. All of me, not just the Sunday version, not just the polished prayers, but the real me, the broken me, the dreamer, the fighter, the one who almost gave up but didn't, the one who is choosing right now to believe again. You don't need to know what tomorrow looks like. You just need to know who walks into it with you. and I will never leave. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too much or not enough. You are mine, and that's more than enough. You are held. You are seen. You are chosen. You are equipped. You are redeemed. You are loved. So go. Walk in freedom. Walk in peace. Walk in purpose. But most of all, walk with me. For this is eternal life, not just to know about me, but to know me. To walk with me in every breath, in every decision, in every sunrise and every season. And when the world gets loud again, when fear tries to creep back in, when pressure presses hard, when the road feels long, just stop. Breathe. Whisper my name, and you will feel it again. That quiet pull, that steady peace, that undeniable love. And you'll remember, you are not walking alone. You never have. This is not the end. This is the beginning, and I will be with you all the way home.
This isn't the end. It's only the beginning of the life God has written for you. If this message stirred your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, live it, walk it, step by step, with Him. Subscribe to Jesus Saves for more spirit-filled moments. And remember, you are never walking alone. We'll see you in the next one. God bless you.